Hello and welcome to Weird World Weekly, a production of GalacticNetcasts.com. I'm Dave Nelson. Joining me, as always, is Matt Stein. Hello, Matt.
Howdy doody, Dave.
So you survived Halloween.
I did. I did absolutely nothing special, just for the sake of we've been doing this show, and I'm now terrified of everything. So thank you.
You're welcome to discuss the weird, the odd, the strange, the unusual, and deliver it to you in 15 minutes or less. We beat the old Domino's record of 30 minutes or less.
We have less of a chance of getting in a car accident, though. So.
And that would, you know what? If that happened, that would make this show extra weird.
If we're speeding around town talking about the news in 15 minutes or less.
I mean, we could do it. I mean, one of us could be in a car. It would have to be you because I record the show on my end.
Yeah. Yeah.
On your phone in the Hangout if you wanted to.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of work, though.
All right, so how we decide what story we're going to talk about is we have this wheel of weird. And on the wheel, there are 4 choices. You have your paranormal, that's your ghost and monsters and stuff like that, things that go bump in the night. Mythological subjects, ancient or modern, conspiracy theories, or grab bag. And then there's stories for each of those categories. We pick one, we talk about it, and then we're out. So, Matt, why don't you do the honors and spin the old wheel of weird and see where it lands?
Let's do this.
All right, wind up. Wind your arm up. Here we go. I love the breeze that comes off that wheel. It feels good. All right, where is it going to land on? Where is it going to land on? It's anybody's guess. And
Mythological.
all right, let's start the timer here. 15 minutes or less. Mythological. And we got the story off of BuzzFeed.com, so that means that it has to be a list, right? They don't do anything that's not a list.
They also don't do anything half-assed, so that's why I like BuzzFeed.
Yeah, BuzzFeed's awesome. All right, so, and you said that you read this story and it freaked you out a little bit, right?
Yeah. I mean, I read it while I was laying in bed trying to go to sleep, which was probably my fault, but it was really interesting to read because I think urban legends and stuff are always kind of interesting because there's always some bit of truth.
Exactly. And these are this is a good variety of urban legends as well. It's not just one type of thing. It takes from a lot of different places. So the first one comes from TV. It's Squidward's suicide. Now, I've never really been a SpongeBob SquarePants viewer. Have you?
Not really. This is going to sound really weird, but when I was like 19, I dated a girl who really liked SpongeBob.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, it makes it sound like she was, like 10 years old, but she was not. She was really into SpongeBob. So I would watch it with her once in a while, and that was about it.
As long as it didn't go into the bedroom, I think you're fine.
We'll just leave it at that.
All right. So Squidward's suicide. When a group of editors uncover a lost episode of SpongeBob SquarePants called Squidward's Suicide, they think it's a joke at first, but quickly discover the disturbing tale of Squidward's final hours, complete with horrifying images they can never forget. Most disturbing, nobody knows where the footage came from. Like, they must have talked to, like, the producers and the creators of the show.
You'd think. I just opened up the actual creepypasta wiki page, and the video is on the bottom.
Oh, it is.
I'm scared. It's 2 minutes, and I'm scared to watch it. I'm almost 30 years old, and I am kind of weirded out to watch it because I don't know what I might see.
I watched something on YouTube right around Halloween, I think, that there was a warning, like, if you watch this, it's gonna freak you out and it might affect your life. So I'm like watching it very hesitantly.
Yeah.
And I don't think I reached the end. I think I watched maybe a minute of it, and I was freaked out, and I stopped it.
I think a lot of stuff like that, like this Squidward suicide thing, might not be that weird, but there's just such a big build-up to it that it's like I will not watch that.
All right, let's move on to the next one, which is Herobrine. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Herobrine?
I have no idea. I am not a Minecraft person, so I don't know much about it.
Do you want to read it?
Sure. As I said, it was Minecraft. It was released a few years ago. I don't know exactly when. But as most people know, it is a giant hit game with everybody. And one user tells the story of a mysterious, blank-eyed character appearing in his single-player game. And after he did a little investigating, he discovers that the elusive character shares a name with the deceased brother of the Minecraft creator.
Weird. Do you think the creator of Minecraft put that in there just as kind of like an Easter egg that people will see once in a while?
Yeah, I can imagine so. The creator sounds like someone that would do something like that, just from what I've heard. The creator's name is Notch, for anyone who doesn't know.
And he just sold it and got $5 billion or something like that.
And I think he pissed off a lot of people in doing so because he had been against selling it to Microsoft for so long, and he finally just kind of gave in.
And he's like, I'm out. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to live my life.
Hell, I don't blame him. If someone brought a dump truck full of money to my house, eventually I would cave.
Yeah. All right. So, if you're into Minecraft, go into the single-player mode, see if you can see the elusive, blank-eyed character. All right, the next one on the list is very familiar. In fact, there was a real-life story as a consequence of it. It's the Slender Man. By now, almost everybody knows who the Slender Man is. Slender Man has given a name and a face to the concept of the boogeyman, except that Slender Man doesn't have a face. Just abnormally long limbs, possible tentacles, and a tendency to hang out near children. That's creepy alone. Slender Man is a fairly new name for a creature that has apparently existed in culture for thousands of years, and he's literally outside your house right now, so run! Have you seen a picture of Slender Man?
Yes, I've done a lot of research on Slender Man because they started making video games about him. Everyone's a little different, but the majority of them you're supposed to do something while staying away from Slender Man.
So the concept is you stay away from Slender Man.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same idea as the boogeyman. You don't let the boogeyman get you. You don't let Slender Man get you.
Okay, all right, I get it. And I'm guessing that the popularity of Slender Man, like the rise of Slender Man's popularity over the last few years, is because of those video games. Maybe.
I think they kind of go hand in hand. Like Slender Man's story came out, and someone's like, "Oh, that's kind of a cool idea for a game," and it just kind of teetered back and forth until it was everywhere.
Kind of thing. Sort of.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next one is suicidemouse.avi. Very few people who have seen the suicidemouse.avi video have lived to talk about it, but we have managed to get a little information about the disturbing clip. When the 6-minute animation of Mickey Mouse walking sadly down a street fades to black, most people would say it's unusual, but not disturbing, until you realize there's an additional 3 minutes. Nobody's quite sure what happens in those last 3 minutes, but it's been claimed to drive viewers to the end of their own lives. So, again, watch this video with the warning that it may affect your life.
There's apparently a description of what happens. It sounds like a bad LSD trip, but it says the 6th minute it comes back, it just shows Mickey Mouse walking down the street looking sad. On the 7th minute, there was a murmur that started. The murmur turns into a blood-curdling scream, and the picture was getting more obscure. Colors were happening that shouldn't have been possible at the time. Mickey's face begins to fall apart, and his eyes rolled on the bottom of his chin like 2 marbles in a fishbowl, and his curled smile was pointing upward on the left side of his face.
Weird.
The buildings became rubble floating in midair, and the sidewalk was still impossibly navigating in warped directions. a few seeming inconceivable with what were, as humans, known about direction. Mr. Moulton got disturbed and left the room. Must have been the guy watching it.
Yeah.
The distorted screaming lasted until 8 minutes and a few seconds in, and then abruptly cuts to the Mickey Mouse face at the credits at the end of every video, what sounded like a broken music box playing in the background. This happened for about 30 seconds, and whatever was in that remaining 30 seconds, I haven't been able to get a sliver of information about. So it's the last 30 seconds that no one knows anything about.
Okay. But this person watched the rest of the footage besides that 30 seconds and lived to tell about it, so it can't be like cursed or anything like that.
No. The last frame, the employees stumbled out of the room. So apparently there was a security guard who saw someone come out of a room after watching the final 30 seconds, and the security guard described it as saying that I was told after the last frame the employee stumbled out of the room with pale skin saying, "Real suffering is not known," 7 times before speedily taking the guard's pistol and offing himself on the spot.
Oh my god! Holy crap! Can't be real. I don't believe it.
I don't either, but it's still kind of crazy to think about.
Well, look for that footage and watch it.
No.
Watch it in your own with a cautionary tale that may happen to you. All right. So, do you want to? Since you're a gamer, do you want to talk about this this last one?
Yeah, I'm just opening up the article, so I have a little more on it. But it's called. I'm assuming it's called Polybius. It's an arcade game that is said to have been distributed by mysterious men in black to arcades around Portland, Oregon in the 1980s. Many kids who played the game reported suffering from amnesia, night terrors, and other illnesses, and usually gave up video games for good shortly thereafter. After about a month, every Polybius cabinet suddenly and mysteriously disappeared, and the company behind the game disappeared just as quickly and may have never existed at all.
Weird.
That's really all. Oh, you can apparently download the game from some German website.
Of course the Germans have it. Why wouldn't the Germans have it?
Yeah, but the game did not take any money.
Weird.
Yeah. The leading theory
think
is
it's
that it was some sort of government experiment using subliminal messages. The game
Yep,
remains in obscurity, as around a month after its release, all the cabinets suddenly disappeared.
Huh. Interesting. Okay. Well, there you go. There's some myths. You can read all of them on the link that we'll have in the show notes of the podcast. And if you have your own urban myth that has freaked you out in the past, we would love to hear it from you. Let us know. galacticnetcasts@gmail.com is our email address, or you can call it in on our voicemail number, and that is 805-328-3966. And like I said, for more information about this show, including links to subscribe, contact info, and where you can find us on the social networks, go to our website, galacticnetcasts.com. And you know what? I really should play the outro music so we know so we know that the show actually is ending. So, one question for you before we leave, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Has there been any urban legends that you've heard in your lifetime that's freaked you out that you can think of?
There's one that we didn't talk about that was on this list, and it's number 1. It's called Tulpa. And it's the guy who is told to sit in a room and think about himself, essentially. And over time, it basically creates a Fight Club effect where his Tulpa is with him all the time, and it starts making him do things.
I don't like that at all.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of crazy to think about the possibility of someone becoming so in tune with their own mind that they can always see a second instance of themselves and hold a conversation and stuff like that. How about you? Any good ones?
Wow, so let's start it again. No, the only one I can think of, it's a story, not an urban legend. It's the one that people talk or say or tell around the campfire about the couple in the car that are making out, and they hear a noise on the roof, and it's a guy with a hook You heard that story before?
Uh-uh.
Okay. Well, maybe next time we'll talk about it more on Weird World Weekly. And as always, Matt, what do?
We're gonna keep it weird, Dave.
All right. We'll talk to you next time.
Mm-hmm.
I wish there was a way to fade this out, but there's not.